Yeah. Ink guy took the controlling runes off of me. The runes that were allowed. What's his name?
It's in oh yeah, I should mention.
Mickey Majid to control me. The ergo my father. Those are taken off by Inkman. I could have died, or been super buffed, or something in the middle. Turns out something in the middle happened. So, how many levels of exhaustion did I get? 3 or
3.
something?
Yes.
So I have 3 levels of exhaustion. So
And you're
I'm
at one
basically
hit
just
point,
gonna
I
be
think.
standing here all night, just sitting, watching. So, yeah, cool.
Um,
I'm sorry. Did you
That'll
just
be fun.
confirm that Nicki Minaj is canon in this universe?
Yes.
I should also
Okay.
mention if you go to the Actors tab in Foundry, every named NPC that your character knows about should be in there now.
And that's all that happened that session. All right.
Oh,
So that's it. That's the recap.
crazy. These notes are so much longer than that.
Wait, did Taylor send you his notes? Or something like that?
No. Taylor did not send me his notes.
And whose notes are you looking at?
I extracted them from his brainstem.
Okay. Well, given that the brainstem is the piece responsible for giving recaps, why don't you go ahead and read Taylor's notes?
Okay, if that's what you want. I don't have Taylor's notes though. I'm telling the truth.
2 hours later.
I'm telling the truth. I don't have them. Um, okay, I'll give you a brief synopsis of the what I do have written down. Um, so Sorkovan, Kordlov do some downtime stuff. There's a creature with tentacles who shows up with a woman and a kobold. They talk about stuff. We meet them, bring them to Bright Bottle, apparently. Core learns of a black dragon attacking. These are very broken apart recap sentences, but oh well. There's a lot of lore in here, guys.
You think?
There's a
You must have
lot of
liked the
lore.
song, didn't you, Chris?
The song has been in my
Lore.
playlist for like 5 years now.
Yeah, after the first time I played it.
Levati talks about her situation in a relationship to the Circle of the Moon.
It's a good song.
Shyrus asks us for help of the predicament that they need men for. Apparently, we go shopping and chat with Mariella. There's some nightmare sequences. Talking about the runes, talking about the magic, deep runes, very dangerous for love. Love. And then the ritual starts. I actually missed who actually, Lech Jantho? Was that his name?
Lek, but yeah.
Lech. Okay, so he's the one who's doing the operation. Love is hallucinating. hearing stuff, making rolls. Almost done. Oh, there's some people coming back from the dead, or perhaps attempting to raise dead or something. But it looks like it fails, and there's a lot of people die. 3 people, to be exact. But Love awakens, barely. Surgery successful and alive. So this is what happens when I read someone else's notes of a situation that they wrote down in parts.
Cool. Anything else anyone would like to add?
What's this about somebody being raised from the dead and 3 people dying? Did I miss that?
Pretty
It
sure
had to
you're
do
the
with
only one who witnessed
your
it.
character part.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
in the
you know,
nightmare sequence?
the part that you paid attention to.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
well.
not what happened. That's not what happened. That's why it threw me off. 3 people were there, and this old person was trying to raise one of them, who was my father.
I
Right,
amended what I said.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Did you mention? Did you guys mention bitch ass Cyrus?
Briefly.
You know that guy who was like, "Oh, the Dragonborn, they're fighting. We gotta go stop them." And then nobody liked him, so Law basically told him, "You stink, piss off," and then we got drunk
Yeah.
at a bar.
Oh, yeah, baby.
See, now that, Liam, is the difference between someone who lived it and someone who read it secondhand.
Point taken. And point learned.
Ignore.
Point match serve. Game. Check.
Tie it up, assume the position.
Mate.
Alrighty then. So you're all in basically the kitchen of the Bright Bottle. As Love returns to his senses. He is covered in sweat. There's some blood in areas where the rune removal did not go quite as planned, but overall, he is alive. The runes are gone. Lek collapses into the chair behind him to catch his breath, and all of you see your friend uh, looking back at you with a newfound sense of freedom. What do you do?
I immediately pass out.
Mariella looks to Lek and says, is he all right? And Lek's like, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. As Alexis continues like heavily breathing, catching his breath in his chair.
Does Love look like just exhausted or like physically hurt?
Make a medicine check.
My favorite. Ooh, it's a fat 8.
There's definitely some physical wounds. There's definitely signs of exhaustion. So you're not 100% sure, but the exhaustion definitely seems pretty intense.
Okay. Well, Takara will just use lay on hands for 20.
Alright, so Love is back at 21 hit points as some of the blood begins to dry and kind of seep back into his wounds and restore them to a more natural state.
How long was I gone?
About
45
20
years.
seconds.
That's two very conflicting. I honestly would have accepted either of them. Wow. Oh, I'm like unmoving.
How do you feel? Are you
I think
okay?
I want to sleep for a few years, if that's okay.
Is that possible? I'm sure there's a spell or something.
Let it be
Usually
done.
it's just. I could use the back of my sword.
No,
It's
no. That's
the
okay.
oldest spell in the book.
Someone, Core, please help me.
Sure, I help him.
Oh. Thought it was a goner.
You certainly had us worried for a second. But you seem alright.
I don't think I would have been without my trusted companions. We've only known each other for roughly 2 weeks, but feel like family. Grateful. My
Has
sense
it-
of time is thrown off right now. I don't remember when.
To the DM, has it actually been like? How long has it really been since we started? Do you know?
16 days.
How much? 16? You
Yes.
cut out for a sec.
Yeah, 16.
It sounds like your sense of time is pretty accurate, my friend.
Oh, my intellect is sharp as a whip. You know that. Carlo?
You know, that's an interesting phrase. Whips aren't really, they're just rope. They're not really like sharp.
Well, it's a whip with a point at the end. You know, like
Oh,
a
okay,
scorpion
I see.
tail.
I see.
Yes.
Love, I owe you an apology.
Why? My memory's not great right now.
This was difficult, what you just did, clearly, and took a lot of bravery. And I apologize for not trusting you to handle the situation with the Sahuagins way back when. Yesterday. 2 days ago, however long it's been. I was wrong, and it won't happen again.
Takara, that means so much. Could you do me a favor? Could you
Okay.
remind me what the sanguines are again?
They're Sahuagins, they're shark people. You had transformed into a shark to try to communicate with them, and you didn't speak the language, and I stepped in and said you were stupid, remember? I know you're being coy. I know you remember this.
Now that you say it, I do remember it.
It was literally 2 days ago.
I need some bread.
Okay, well, the apology is there, and you can take it if you want.
I take it.
Okay. It was genuine.
I'm going to go down and
I'm
get him
grateful.
some bread.
There's actually, I mean, I mentioned this is basically the kitchen area, so there's shelves stocked with all sorts of food.
And some juice.
There's plenty of that too. So, as you kind of bite off some bread and drink some of the juice that's available. Mariella kind of steps forward and says, I was thinking about waiting until tomorrow to do this, but it seems like you're got back to your normal self pretty quick. Um, so I believe, Lek, don't you have a little something for love? And Lex just kind of like waves his hand towards his bag that's like on the ground nearby, and Mariella walks over and kind of fiddles around in it, and then pulls out a small book and begins walking towards you, Love. And she holds it out and says, "This is a journal of 10,000 pages. It is sort of the calling card of our order. And if you're still interested in joining our cause, well, this will be yours. However, there is one sort of tradition we have. If you look here on the first page, is an oath of service to our order. It's, just a kind of traditional thing, but it does give a sense of what we stand for and what we value. So give that a read and let me know what you want to do. Um, and I will give you access to that real quick. Come on.
Thank you, Cor, for the bread and what is this? Mango juice. Delicious. And you, Tokara, I feel bad for kind of brushing your apology aside. I really wasn't feeling myself, but I do appreciate that. And you, it was a stressful moment, and you wanted what was best for the group, I'm sure. So, you don't need to apologize, but it's accepted.
So Love, if you go to the journal tab, there's a entry in there called the Oath of the Order of the Open Eye. And that is on the first page of the book that she hands you. Which I can give you the details of that as well. And you'll notice the journal of 10,000 pages in the items tab for you. So Lek kind of seems to have recovered himself, and he sits up straight and he says, "Well, now that that's taken care of, um, you know, removing runes isn't the only thing I do. I have a few things that I craft of the magical variety, and well, if any of you are looking for something to augment your gear or equipment, I might be able to make a couple of trades, bring some money into our order. Um, and if you look on the Kanatra page, there is a shop for Lek, um, for some magic items that he has for sale.
Ooh.
And the quantities listed are accurate, so he doesn't have like an infinite amount of each of these things.
I've read this oath.
And
If I may, Mary Ella, how did you become involved with the Order?
well, see, I was born and raised in Spadum, a place that thrives on secrecy hidden identities and control over information and thus money and other resources. Um, and it was during my time there that I met another halfling who, although she was just involved in the space society as I was, she somehow or another followed a god known as Sabrar. Um, Certainly not popular among Spadum, much less the rest of Western Eochora. But she kind of acted as my mentor for a time, and eventually, under her guidance, I decided that Spanish politics were no longer for me. And so, after leaving my homeland, I stumbled across Lek here in my travels, and he, um, as well as a tiefling in our order, were the two who inducted me, as I found a new way to serve the people of this realm. Um, and ever since then, I've really been doing everything that I wish I could have done as a politician in Spadum. The That nation is corrupt and power hungry, and they use information as their most powerful weapon. But we of the open eye believe that information belongs to all, and so we have many enemies, and we have to be careful. Hence some of the strictness described in that oath. But we're we get along just fine. Um, Ever continuing in our goal and helping bring knowledge to people that places like Spadeham would deny.
I agree with many of your tenets. In fact, I was initially drawn to the Order of the Open Eye and what you've presented to me because of my own past. I wonder why me? But a more important question that I'd like to have answered. Has open, free knowledge for all ever hurt anyone? What I mean is, have your efforts ever hurt innocence? Whether it be intentional or not.
Let's see. So Lek stands up and he says, love, you got a good head on your shoulders. There are certainly risks to our goal, and some might see us as fanatics. But you're not wrong. There is dangerous knowledge in this world. There are secrets that, when revealed, have caused great harm. And we're well aware of that. And so, I mean, most of our efforts and goals are focused towards gathering beneficial knowledge, but the those dangerous secrets, well, at least I like to believe that yes, it's dangerous for them to be known, but once they're known, we can work with them. We can find ways to, you know, prevent them from being used improperly. We can find ways to undo the damages that have already been caused in the past by these secrets, because all that knowledge is out there. Somebody has it. And the fewer people that have it, the easier it is for them to use it for evil.
Who do you share your knowledge with? If I were to go look into public records, would I find a list of your hierarchy? Would your leader's name be published somewhere?
So Mariella points to the little book that she just handed you. And she says, well, that book is quite a bit more than meets the eye. Um, you see, anything you write in there is accessible from anyone else with a copy of that book. Um, in fact, and she takes your book and starts flipping through it a bit, and then shows you a page that looks like the first page that you saw, where it's like the oath, but it has her name in it, and then it's signed Lex Xantho and Talwyn May at the bottom. Um, so you might have noticed us writing in here. Um, everything people in our order do is scribed in these books, so that that knowledge is not kept by any one of us, but shared among everyone in our order. And the Cardinal Index holds a master copy of this book um, that is available for any who wish to read it.
Where's the Cardinal Index located?
He's in Volai, um, quite far north of here. Um, but and if you ever find yourself in that area, I'm sure he'd be happy to meet you and share what knowledge he may. I
You've impressed me.
appreciate that.
I'll take your oath.
All right.
Blah, 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 I say the oath. You want me to say the whole thing?
If you
Again.
want to, you don't have to, but if
That's
you
up
want,
to
you
you. You're the DM.
can. Sure, go for it.
Okay, speed read here. I love Castive, my own free will and accord in the presence of the developing chronicle Sarai, and two sworn members of the Order of the Open Eye do hereby and hereon most solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will ever reveal and never hide any of the secrets, arts, inventions, discoveries, intelligence, news, facts, and statistics that I uncover in a verifiable and reliable manner, while under the employ, directive, or commission of the Order of the Open Eye, its sworn members, and or their client. I furthermore promise and swear that I will stand to and abide all the laws, rules, and regulations of the Cardinal Index and of the order which I may hereafter become a member, and that I will ever maintain and support the laws and edicts of the order under which the same shall be holden. Furthermore, that I will acknowledge and obey all due signs and summons sent to me from an index given me by a sworn member of the order, if within my powers and capabilities. All of this I most solemnly, sincerely promise and swear, with a firm and steady resolution to perform the same, without any hesitation, myself under no less penalty than that of having my senses stripped, my thoughts invaded, my memories wiped, my property seized by the mind of Sarai. I swear my true and faithful allegiance to the Order of the Open Eye, until my life be taken or its mission be fulfilled. Oh my gosh.
They begin clapping.
I did not see. Putting myself into servitude a moment after I gained my freedom, but I see this more of freeing the realm. And if I have to willingly pledge myself to this organization to do so most effectively, then if it helps someone like myself or one more naive person like that exists, or innocent, then that's what I'll do. So I thank you for this privilege, this opportunity.
Well, we're
and
happy to
path.
have you. And I did add the Journal of 10,000 Pages to your inventory. So I can do a couple of different things, if you want to check that out. All right, well, is anyone interested in buying anything that Lek has available? Or have they bought anything already? Just out of curiosity.
I'm poor.
Where was his shop again?
So
What
if
was it
you're on
under?
the, here, it's over here. I
Oh,
think.
I do not see it on the actual map.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you might need to
I
go
don't
to
see any.
the Journal Notes tab in the left bar,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and then there's a button that says Toggle Notes Display. It's like a purple pin near the top left.
I do not see that. I will look for it though.
So it's the button that looks like a bookmark.
Yeah.
On the left, and then the button that looks like a pin in a
Mm-hmm.
map, kind of. It might also be in the journal tab under shops and then temporary shops.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I just don't
Okay.
see his actual.
Does anyone else see his little icon on the map?
Does it?
I see it.
Does anyone? Okay.
I see
Are
I'll
it.
you
just.
in the right tab?
Yeah, I'll refresh and see if that works.
That might help. Alrighty. All right. So Mariella says, well, with that all taken care of, we're really excited about everything that's happened, but unfortunately, I think it might be time for goodbye. I have places to be, information to find, and I'm sure we'll come across each other in our travels across Sharoner. But if you can, and this offer stands for any of you. If you come across any interesting information, secrets that are better revealed to the world, feel free to let us know. And you know, Love, there's a page in that journal there where you can kind of reach out to us at any time. We kind of use for general communication among our order. Um, might want to write a little letter of introduction of yourself to the others, and they'll respond in time. But I was thinking that that girl that came in with the kobold, Huata, I think her name was. Just mighty curious what someone with the regeneration is doing this deep in Sharoner. If they have some sort of outpost or research facility nearby, well, I'd love to find out what's going there, as I'm sure the rest of my order would. If any of you hear anything about that, let me know, and I might compensate you for it. Although, Takara, I believe you wanted to spend some time. You had some questions for me?
I did, if you could spare it.
Yeah, I think I could. Um, do the rest of you want to hang around for this, or would you rather go somewhere where we could speak privately?
Um. Well, I have a proposition for you, but yes, why don't we not bother the rest of them with this?
Very well. And she leads you out and heads to just one of the other rooms in the inn that she's been staying in. So what is this proposition?
Well, How much do you or your order know of my people in Gurun Hijar?
Um, well, one of our members is actually a Vargoth like yourself. So we've heard a bit from him. Um, but we've other than he's not been there since he joined our order, and we have never had any members active in that area. Um, so any information I'm sure you could provide is quite useful.
Well, I'd be more than willing to fill in the gaps of whatever knowledge base there may be. Um, just simply for an answer to a question.
Of
If you
course.
know anything of a certain Vargath that's been wandering Eochora, and perhaps Sharoner specifically.
Well, in all of my travels, I've not seen many Vargoths, other than the one in our order that I mentioned. What's the name of this Vargoth you're looking for?
His name is Aspar Mirsen.
Hmm. Well, seems you're in luck. That's the one I know. One and the same.
I'm sorry, he is the one in your order.
Yes.
That is incredibly interesting.
And why is that?
Well, there's no way to beat around it, and you are one who likes the truth, so I will tell it. He fled my home some 12, 13 years ago, under suspicion of treason.
Really? I mean, he's never been a talkative fellow, especially when it comes to his past. But he is quite skilled. Tell me, do you know more of the details of this? And as you're talking, like she's writing in her book.
Yeah. There is no concrete proof, so I will not tell you anything that has not been proven, as I assume that would go against the nature of what you're interested in.
Sure.
What I can tell you is true is that I was sent to find him to learn more about what he was suspected of being involved in, a plot to overthrow my village.
Hmm. Interesting. Do you have any idea why he might want to have overthrown your village?
I do not.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Like I said, I mean, and I've only met Aspar once in person myself, but we communicate via our books, as I do with much of the rest of the order. Um, he, I do know that he has had a difficult past. I know that he's done things that he regrets. But today, I can tell you for a fact, Aspar is a sworn pacifist. He would do nothing to hurt anyone, even if it means suffering himself. So, if the suspicions are around violent activity or something in that regard, they might be true, but I think that's the Aspar of the past. The the man you would meet should you come across him, very different than the one that left your village so many years ago. I'd like to imagine.
I would like to imagine that he is very different from the way my village views him as well. I wish the same. And I will not ask you for his location or even anything else, really, but I believe I have to find out for myself.
Well, I could send him a message on your behalf if you'd like.
I'd appreciate it. I do not think it is time. You have given me more than enough, actually. Just knowing that he is still alive and around is enough. And perhaps that will change soon, and I can reach you through love, or him through love.
Really, you're not interested in the nature of his work in this order or anything like that? I mean, you've traveled so far in search of him, it sounds like. If I was in your position, like, I'd want to get every piece of information I could get my hands on.
I do. But I would prefer to expect how I will react before I have what I would be reacting to. And right now, I don't know. You have given me much to think about.
Well, you have a strong will, Takara. I'll tell you that much. So,
That's true.
I hope you find what you're looking for. Because I get the feeling there's more to it than just Aspar.
Perhaps. Perhaps that thread leads to a whole other spool.
All right. Well, is there anything else you had questions about or wanted to share with me? I'll
I do,
probably.
actually. Um, well, as I promised, I will also tell you anything you'd like to know about the Vargath. But if Vargath is a member, then perhaps there is not so much need for that.
I'll tell you what would be most valuable. And I understand it's been some time since you've been in Grunhazar, but anything that's happened there, any events, politics, or changes in the situation there since he left would be information that our order certainly doesn't have access to at the moment.
Certainly. It is something I can explain, and I tell her some stuff that I, as a player, don't know, I guess. But the Elendis in her position, and the other members of, I believe she is one of the several members of like the Council of Elders or something. That's not something I've thought about in like over a year, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And also the current situation with the Dragonborn, battles that Takara fought in. She would know the last situation of like where the current like conflicts were on the borders. But that was actually, I think if we've only been together as a party for 15 days, then that would have only been information from like a couple months ago.
Okay.
So that's actually pretty current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if she was interested, the Takara could tell her much about the legend of the gods, the pantheon. of the Vargath.
Yeah, she'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I still have to write that and give it to you, but
Yeah.
Takara would tell her now.
Sounds good. Cool. All right. And with that, Mariella will say her final goodbyes, as
I'm
will.
sorry, that was the first proposition. I have one more. It
Oh,
won't
okay.
take too much of your
Sure.
time. Maybe it will. This is a little more of a piece of information. And what I would ask for in trade is actually just a lesson from you.
I suppose I can delay my departure for a day or so, depending on the nature of this lesson, assuming the information is of equal value or more.
I would be most gracious, and of course, that judgment is up to you. But I'm looking back at our messages to see what feat that we talked about. Observant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shit, I forgot what that feat does. If you could just train me in the ways of the observer, of gathering information with but a glance. Somewhere I can hear Lilavati laughing, but I don't know why or at what.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Well, that is, of course, what you would, if you deem this important enough. And for this, I would kindly ask to go into a whisper channel.
Sure. See you all in a bit. Hey.
Okay. So Takara will actually, in this situation, take out a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and with her Illuminator's tattoo,
Nice.
will write on the paper, "What do you know of the Silent Citadel?"
Okay, she'll take that paper back.
And I've designated her as the person that can read it, obviously.
Right. Okay. All right, one sec. She gets a kind of curious expression on her face. Thinks for a minute. Kind of looks down at the paper, looks up at you, and then starts flipping through her book. And give me a second. She says that. All right, so in her book, she shows you a page that seems to be a description of the Shadowfell, methods of transportation there. It talks about the many different tribes of species that live there. Um, some of which you recognize from your vision of the Silent Citadel, some of which you do not. Um, and there is a kind of paragraph at the bottom talking about Balakai, the God Hunter, how he's brought together many of these tribes and his power in terms of magical artifacts under his command, individual, as well as political power among the people of the Shadowfell, is unprecedented for this place. And the bottom of the page is signed Aspar Emilson.
Oh, of course it is. Okay. All right. In that, does it mention which it mentioned the tribes that he's gathered. Does it name the tribes or say what races those tribes are?
Yeah, I can give you some of those now, or I can give you like the list of all of the tribes. Or I suppose
Yeah,
she would kind of point out or gesture that like it's not an exhaustive list.
yeah.
Um, but I can definitely give you those details at a later date.
Okay,
Unless there
that's
was
fine.
any specific ones you're interested in now, because like I have,
I was sorry. I
yeah,
was really just asking because Takara was planning on talking about the members of that council that she saw.
right,
Um, and so she was looking to see if there was information of the specific, like, like how many tribes there were and if they had like a leader and what kind of like race they were. Because
yeah,
that's the information. That's really the only information she has is like who makes up
right. So
the different
she
tribes.
definitely has information that that's not in there. So basically, it's just
Hmm.
listed like there's the Xvarts, the Darklings, the Shadar-kai, um, which are all, like some of the ones that she recognizes. But it doesn't
Yeah.
have any information about like leadership or whether or
Hmm.
not like who specifically is associated with Balakai or not. Um,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah.
Well then, seeing that, Takara actually directly after seeing her vision prepared a document.
Hmm.
Um, a document that Chris has not prepared, but I will tell you what's on it.
Sure.
She hands her, written in her invisible ink, her
Hmm.
Illuminator's tattoo ink, um, a parchment that contains the not the names, but the structure of the council that she saw, um, with the members and specifically, of note, probably to Mariella, the members that she doesn't have anything on, like the Draco Lich and
Right.
the Death Knight and
Yeah.
um, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I would say
Um,
Mariel's notes mentioned that there is a Draco Lich working with Balakai, but there's no mention of the Death Knight, so that seems to be news to
damn it.
her.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
and
then
and like
the
the
other
that's literally all she has is there is a Draco Lich, or
okay.
probably no, it would just say a black dragon, so news that it is a Draco Lich is pretty relevant.
Yeah. And each member is briefly like visually described.
Uh-huh.
Um, so in that description would be, the fucking dragon has like
Yeah.
fucking green flames shooting out of it. Um, with the exception of Natalie, she is not mentioned
Okay.
because just so it's I'm not looking like I'm metagaming.
Mhm.
Natalie of all on the council that Takara saw was the only one who didn't seem like she would immediately cause harm to members of the party, so she doesn't want to out Natalie.
Yep.
Um, and one more thing, at the bottom, very briefly or succinctly rather, Takara just has a couple sentences that um, their motivations appear to be seeking aid, um, and not necessarily to like destroy anything or start a war or anything like that. But um, that's it. Just that they're seeking aid. No more
Mhm.
details than that.
Gotcha. Um, do you say anything out loud during this whole conversation?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll pick up on that and she'll uh write down on her parchment. She is curious how you came across this information. Um, but will tell you that the Shadowfell has been. No, what she would say is that when Aspar joined their order, it was like he was in the Shadowfell at the time, and that has been the focus of his study for some time. Um,
Wow.
the trying to think what else she would say. Oh yeah, but she will say that this is quite useful information. Uh, Valuable to us, but Aspar especially. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that seems to be a fair trade.
Okay.
So,
Once Takar has given the information,
mhm.
I'm not going to say anything else that's secret, so we can go back to the main thing if you want.
Okay.
You got saved by the bell,
Hey.
kids. Yeah,
Hello.
I was gonna
Wait.
ask you a very deeply personal question.
Ask it.
We could discuss it later.
You know what, William? We're gonna discuss it now, okay? Nah.
Takara
We
just
could
says.
discuss it later.
Takara says we can just. No, she doesn't say that. Takara just says, "I hope you find this trade fair."
She nods and says, yes, what you have provided is quite interesting. Um, so guess we have some work to get to tomorrow.
I would love to.
All right, so she heads back down. What have the rest of y'all been up to?
She jotted everything down from y'all's conversation, so Lav has just been reading it this whole time.
Oh yeah, no, it's all in there.
Takara knows.
Yeah.
I should have just been in that chat.
Oh,
I mean,
Chris, if you want to DM Joe a brief summary of what was discussed.
Yeah. Let me just. I know that Law was going to get that info. Just so you are aware, I had to be in a whisper channel because I was asking Chris about certain things that isn't necessarily stuff that I told her. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lav doesn't get 100% of what happened in there, but he will get some of the gist of it.
he'll DM me. It's fine.
Yeah. What are the rest of y'all up to?
I would have gone back upstairs and locked
Also
myself
be-
away in the room again.
Okay.
I had the book cracked open. I thought Bolavati and Core were joining in, but it's fine.
Cora, what do you think here?
Oh, hang on. Give me a sec, guys.
Well,
Hold on. I'll be right back.
I guess we're taking a break. So Lil
I'm just
Vati.
kidding. Here I am. Go ahead.
Anyway, let's see.
Alovati considers herself under house arrest at this point.
Yeah. So at this point, Lav, you've received all the information, and you notice Lek has been kind of glancing through it as well. And he says, something seems up with your friend there, gesturing towards the door closed behind Lil Vati. Is she always that quiet?
Um, that was actually, yeah. So one of the main reasons why I asked that question has the mass revelation of knowledge to the world ever harmed an innocent? Because my friends here have their their own secrets. Um, I'm not privy to them. Most of them, which
Sorry about that.
Cora,
I
do you
would.
mind? We're in a
Sorry.
conversation.
Okay, no, that's fine. You guys
We'll get to
continue.
you in a second.
Which, honestly, you know, can we talk for about 15 more minutes? Just no reason. Just enjoy your company. Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
You're saying something about the secrets of your friends?
Oh yes, yes, of course. You see, what little I did know of them, I think they may be even more guarded toward me in the future because of this oath I've taken in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we like to keep in mind, there's a lot of information out there, so you got to kind of prioritize what's going to be most useful in helping people, you know. Um, the Mariel has been looking into your family because there's been some concern about what they're doing here in Shariner. Um, there's other Astarian families, surely up to mischief, but here we could do a little bit more investigating than in Astaria. Um,
About that,
mhm.
I'm looking at him square in the face. Leave my brother and sister out of this. They're pawns, just like I was.
Hmm.
If they get hurt, that might upset me. My eyes just like flicker with this bright blue light for a second. I'll roll an intimidation check.
Sure. He says, well, you might want to let Mariella know, because from what I've heard of Astarian
Oh, don't worry,
coin
I'll give
houses,
him.
Yeah, I will
Sure.
be keeping my distance from this for sure. I have other plans and don't need to be getting involved with your family. As nice as you seem, some of the things we've come across are troubling. So trust me, I will not be involved. Um,
I'm going to sleep.
okay. Cora, what
I
have you
just
been
had
up
a
to?
I would have probably been speaking with, checked up on Ferrara after everything that happened.
You you find her it's like in her room eating some food. Um, hey, Core, right?
Yes, Core.
Cool. So you've been thinking about everything that happened yesterday, and what do you want to do?
Yes. I would love to help the rest of your kin that appear to be in trouble, but at the same time, I can't say I trust Shyrus all that much. Something about him seems to mean well, but I don't know, just this, he has this aura of going about it in the wrong way. Can't really explain it all.
Look, well, I never met the fellow before, but I do remember back at in Al Hadan, some of the soldiers I would overhear when they were, eating some of the food I had prepared. Um, they were talking about this one druid that they saw in one of the battles who transformed into this huge, terrifying bear, and it was like they had bears in their army. I mean, you saw those animals out there, but this one was clearly possessed of both brain and brawn, as he strategically took out some of our finest troops and using his massive strength and endurance to his advantage. So it might have been this guy, might have been someone else. I don't know, but if he was out of the picture, things would be a lot better for us dragonkin.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
That may be, though at the same time, from what you described, I seriously doubt it would take a bunch of people in order to take someone like him down. Besides,
Oh, I bet.
I don't even know if that's wouldn't exactly call that the proper solution. It would just be, a simple short-term solution that could open up to a whole nother world of problems.
Yeah. No, there's certainly a lot going on around these parts.
Hmm.
But just want a place I can call home. That's all.
Of course.
A home for the rest of the Dragonkin where they can, be who they want to be. But
Right. I mean, it's certainly important to figure out who really needs to, who we should target and who we should ally with and who even we should let be. It's a difficult process. I learned a lot about that with the Arising Alloys. Don't really learn a lot where I came from.
well, I'm glad that with all this nonsense going on, you're still checking in on me.
Of course. I know plenty well what you must have gone through. Want to make sure you're feeling okay.
Well, I'm not doing too bad. It's just constantly worrying about everyone over in Al Hadan. Even just
Also,
knowledge on how things are right now would be really great. But
certainly you need to discuss further with the rest of my party, but if we do come to a decision, I'll be sure to let you know.
appreciate it.
All right, I'm gonna head back downstairs.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Alrighty. Anyone else wanted to do anything before turning in for the night? Alrighty. So the next day, let's see. Trying to remember.
Chris,
Yo.
I think from now on, like assuming I have the time, every morning I'm just gonna cast water breathing on myself.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as you like have that spell prepared and mark off the spell slot, that sounds good to me.
It's a ritual cast
Oh,
of it.
even better. So yeah, so you just need to have it prepared and
Yeah.
no need to worry about that. We'll just assume that you take care of it. So Takara, you wanted to speak with oh wait, I'm trying to remember what you said.
Oh, about the about who will be in charge of the village.
No, something. There was
Oh.
another feat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I did. Yeah. So you wanted to speak to Zanya about some training from her as well.
Yeah.
All right. So you head into the marketplace, and everyone else can be in the general vicinity of the marketplace. Because one thing you do notice is the woman who came with Frara, Huata. She seems to have a little temporary kind of stall set up in the marketplace, and she has some things that she is selling that are beyond the ordinary. So if you go to, it should be in, yeah. So in the temporary shops in the act under journal or on, if you could have the map pins turned on the Kanasha tab, there's a Huata shop.
It says the shop is currently closed.
Oh. All right, check now. You might need to like close it and reopen it.
It is. It instantly fixed it.
Sweet. Yeah. And she's happy to have a conversation with anyone who's interested, but some things that are for sale. And you see uh one sec. Xania and Sinajit. And Sinajit kind of had like a market stall there that he's been at for the past couple days, but he seems like he's kind of closing things up. And Xania's just kind of standing there, keeping an eye on people walking around the marketplace. What do you do?
I go up to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Her name is pronounced Zanya or Zanya?
Xania. Oh, I didn't put them in there. Xania is the lizard folk woman, and then
Yeah.
Sinajit's the trader. Yeah, Xania. Zyanya.
Got it. Good day, friends.
She nods to you, and Sinajit says, hello.
I actually have a proposition for you, Zanya.
She kind of tilts her head towards you, and her tongue kind of like flickers in and out.
I noticed, well, really, I could not help but notice, you seem quite adept and skilled at combat. And
she nods.
I was hoping if you had time and were willing, you could teach me how to keep people from fleeing when I don't want them to. It's Sentinel, Kevin. I can see you trying to figure it out. Okay.
She kind of looks up and scratches her chin as she thinks for a bit. And then she looks towards Shinaja and kind of waves her hand towards him, and he digs into a pouch and hands her a pen and piece of paper. And she begins writing down a note.
Oh.
And then she hands you the note. And it says that I had a goal here, but Sinajit and I are going to go assist the Deepwood Wardens in defending against these Dragonborn, and so I will leave this task to you, as I think it will give you the skills necessary to achieve what you seek. We have contacts in a merchant organization known as the Swamp Tongues. They trade mostly around Cascalias, but several members have reported a wandering duelist, killing any who choose to fight her. The key to combat is controlling one's bloodlust, not giving into it. I'm afraid this duelist will go out of control if she keeps giving into her bloodlust. Stop this threat, and the trade routes will be safe once more.
Takara gives a nod, folds the note, puts it in a various pouch, one of myriad pooches, and this is a task I think I would the relish in completing, actually.
She nods to you and gives you kind of like an awkward thumbs up.
Well, thank you for your information, and perhaps we will see you out there in the battle. We're not sure yet. Don't take that as a promise.
She kind of makes like a gesture towards you, like come closer, but it's a little bit more, not literally meaning that. I kind of like this.
Does that maybe mean to meet them on the battlefield, perhaps?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay. She doesn't actually want me to walk towards her.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, all right. We will see what happens. But I would love nothing more.
Um, all right. So, is anyone buying anything from Huata? Or does anyone need help accessing that? Or
I was able to fix my issue.
cool. All right. Anyway, in the meantime, a few hours go by as the sun reaches its peak over Kanacha and then begins its descent towards the horizon. And the let's see. Eventually, you return to the bright bottle. And as kind of all of you arrive, Yashoda says, "Oh, hey, it's you guys. Listen, there's someone who wants to meet you, and I think you're going to be pretty excited about this. Um, she's at the Druid tree."
Have I slept?
Yeah.
It's the next
Oh, yeah,
day.
you've gotten a long rest, which means you. Well, no, in my homebrew rules, you lose all your levels of exhaustion when you take a long rest, so you're back at fresh. Because it's easier to get levels of exhaustion through getting to 0 hit points and such. But anyway, yeah, lava's back to normal. Mhm.
Who is this person?
Why, it's Azmaki herself, the Archdruid of the Circle of Water. When she found out about what happened here with the druids, she came as quickly as she could and has been asking around for the people who saved this village from the many threats that were devastating us. So, might be some reward for you.
Excellent. I believe Takara needs to finish her breakfast, and then we'll head over afterwards.
They like fry. They take like a fucking like it's like a rooster, and they like fry it and like shit. It's delicious.
Can I have a bite of that?
Yeah, here you go.
Feels like we're so far away. Just...
Only 1,800 miles.
All right. So heading over to the druid's tree.
I would disguise self before leaving the inn.
Okay. All right. So you head over there. Give me one sec.
I'll just write in the journal. Belavati disguises herself as we walk to the tree.
And let's see. Do I have? Yes. All right. So you see this woman surrounded by several different people who seem to have kind of a important air about them. They're organizing and cataloging the things in the tree, kind of cleaning up, trying to make details of what's going on. And as you approach, she kind of turns. She is of a race that most of you would probably not recognize. But if you think your character might or wanted to make a check or something, let me know. And you see Kohada, the kind of captain of the guard here. talking to her, and she says, or Kohada says to her, these are the folks I was telling you about. They destroyed the mushrooms here in this tree, as well as the creature in the temple at the bottom of the lake that was creating simulacrums of people or simulacrums. Um, and and he turns and says, "Azmaki, I present the secret swords." And he kind of bows slightly and then steps away. And she stands up and says, "Hello, I am Azmaki, the Circle of the Waves, and I've heard much of you from the people here in this town, of what you have done. But I would hear it in your own words. Tell me, what evils have you seen here?"
I believe our bard Sir Coven could tell it best. Sir Coven?
Yes, well, it's all very mysterious. That's my Sarkovan impression, by the way.
Sir Coven is still in bed at the end because he's not feeling well. Actually, no. Sir Coven is doing. Sir Coven has several little cutscene event things here that we're saving for next time, so he is busy with one of those.
Love, you don't forget the Sarkovan is, well, he is.
He's facing
in
many
this-
trials right
Yes, it's the trial of the water closet. It is a. Takar doesn't actually say that. She's much too stoic to say that. But Love, why don't you tell her?
It's another recap.
There's not much to tell, really. I mean, there's a lot to tell, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you can give a little quick recap, and we can assume there's more to it. But I want to hear at least a little something.
I've been talking so much. I think Core, your gravelly, sultry voice would do it justice. So, go ahead.
Oh, well, yes, of course, love. Essentially, there were a bunch of mushroom creatures that were sort of paralyzing and controlling a bunch of the villagers, as well as a creature at the bottom of the lake of ablution that was creating these, what we're calling podlings, that were of mimic other members of the town as well, all at the same time as the mushroom creatures. And fortunately, we were able to deal with both of the main threats to free the town and its citizens.
Well, that is no small feat by any means. One sec.
If I could just add one thing, we also encountered what appeared to be the taken over body of the archdruid here. Her name was Auricularia or Shatursta, one of those two.
Shatursa, yes. She had mentioned several weeks back of um, a growing darkness that she sensed in this land, and the trouble beneath the lake that they had temporarily quelled, but had not yet found a permanent solution for. Um, and I had hoped to give her aid sooner than later in that endeavor, but seems other responsibilities took me away from where I was needed most. So much going on in these lands, and yet so few of us willing to continue to work for peace. I thank you for being here when you could, because if you hadn't, many more lives would have been lost. Um, And so, as a, it will not make up for what you have done, but I can, for what you have done here, as well as what you did in Utamanu with the um, council there. I saw you working to protect the people from your friend. Um, so I will grant you. Oh, sorry. She'll say, and after that, I did have some time to speak with Burzil before he returned to the Ceaseless Sea. And he is also proud of what you have done. And so, on his behalf, I will grant you the blessings of the Water God. She says, where is it? I invoke his name to grant the blessing of water upon you. In your future endeavors, may injuries pass you by like rain upon rock. May the arcane powers you wield carve valleys through mountains like the mighty rivers of the realm. May you dance and flow around your enemies as the fish of the sea evade the fishermen. As long as you stay true to one another, so you shall receive these blessings. And I am dropping a charm of Burisil into each player's inventory. Yep,
Oh,
alright, so
my
that's gonna be there
Barista.
for charm of Burisil. Um, is a magical charm, which is a special type of magic item. That's not really a physical item, but still something you can use. And she says, but if there's anything else you will have me do for you, be it within my power, and with um, further the goals of this nation of Sharoner, I will be happy to assist.
Thank you for this.
Most honored. Thank you.
However, if there's nothing else you would have of me, there's much work to do in finding druids of our order willing to come here and bring back a semblance of governance. But as
If
our Yodahala trees are spread far across the realm, it will be some time before any but myself will be here.
if I may just ask one question, we were sent here on the recommendation of the council at Udamanu, and do you have a way to send word to them of what has happened here? And the player has forgotten if we've already done that.
So, yeah, small reminder, before y'all went into the lake, you were talking to Eochora, the barkeep at the inn, and he sent a messenger to Jalakabo, the capital city of Sharoner, to let them know what's happening. And you get the sense that her being here is as a result of that. That's how she found out about
Oh,
it. And so since Kanatra was a tree dedicated to the Circle of Water, that's why this one person came, because it's like kind of under her domain.
then Dakara does not say that shit.
Okay. Yeah, she says that I must return. Let's see. I must return to my village soon. But I understand there's a group of dragonkin that have invaded to the north of here. I will leave a few of my retainers to provide healing should any of you need it. But I trust that Cyrus will keep order here in Kanatra until I can send druids of the Circle of Water this way. As those who are injured in the fighting, I hope that they find respite here. And if you wish to continue serving this realm, I suggest you join him to assist with his endeavors.
I don't believe we have discussed what we are doing yet, but that will certainly be in the conversation.
Yeah, and so with that, she heads off. And at this point, so like I said, there's a couple things. Did you have something else you wanted to say, or you like?
Me? No, I was
oh, okay.
waiting. I was
Okay.
waiting.
Oh, I see. It was like choppy, so just so you raise your hand. So Sir Coven has a couple little events that are going to happen with him, but we'll take care of that next week. So at this point, it's up to y'all what happens next. Those are all the little events that I had planned for this sort of half downtime. But like I said, you're aware of a lot of the things that are going on around the realm, and it's up to you to get involved in them however you see fit. And even like if y'all were to leave Kanatra this session, we can just kind of skip back in time to handle the things that Sir Coven does here. Actually, now would be a good time to take a little break. So if anyone needs to use the bathroom or get some water, feel free to do so. We'll be back in, let's say, 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so what are y'all gonna do? I assume you've like gathered in the inn somewhere to discuss this.
I was gonna ask Azumaki something.
Oh yeah, that's right. What were you gonna say?
Um, I was gonna ask for permission to like look at their tomes stuff, like looking for trying to get like a different circle's perspective into druidic combat techniques.
So like you said you're looking for like tomes in the
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tome scrolls, bits of information.
Yeah. No, she's happy to let you in to do that. Make a investigation check.
I would
Um,
like to. I would like to use your homebrew.
oh
So I
yeah.
get that at 13.
Yeah. You find a book detailing several of different water-based spells used by druids. Of a few different power levels. Some, not many are for combat, but several are. Um,
To be specific, I'm trying to like gain information towards the Warcaster feat.
I see. Um, let's see. So, yeah, I mean, you spent some time looking through your book through these different books and stuff, and as Maki kind of approaches and says, to you're not going to find much in books when it comes to druidic knowledge and power. It is often a tradition passed down by word of mouth and example of action. Um, do you wish to um, find a suitable teacher?
Uh, um, I'll I'm gonna drop the disguise self in front of her,
Hmm.
and I'll just say, if you were kind enough to offer a teacher, I would want to know. I would want you to know the full details of my circumstances. I assume like she might recognize me, like based on rumor and stuff.
There's no immediate reaction. Like she kind of like tilts her head at the disguise, but you're not sure if she recognizes you or is just playing it cool to or trying to wait and find out more. She says, share your story with me then. And know that well, such an illusion may fool many. Um, Lies and deceptions will not find purchase against me.
I had a feeling. I wanted to be upfront about it.
Hmm.
So I tell her a bit about it and kind of angle it towards just leaving out as much of my personal feelings about the situation. Just and then like kind of giving the reason for the disguise is just just kind of basing it around Shyrus.
So you do bring up, mention him and
Yeah.
his involvement. She says, well, these are it's certainly a troubling story to hear. I would think the circle of the moon beyond such uh, petty acts of vengeance. Our society has laws and orders, and clearly that wasn't enough for them. Now, She thinks for a minute. She says, "What you have done for the people of Kanatra is worth keeping your true identity a secret from Cyrus on my part. But with the deeds around the seed that you lost still remaining a mystery, the truth of what happens escapes us, and thus action against the Circle of the Moon is something that I would not recommend."
I don't ask for action against them at this point in time.
Then what is it that you seek?
The strength to be better than what they would have left me as, assuming. Allegedly.
Many in your position would seek vengeance or retribution. Many would give in to despair. Many would turn against this home, given the corruption you have suffered. But you are a soul that looks to the future, not the past. You help people like those here in Kanatra, despite the difficulty of remaining here. And you will continue to help others that need your help. So for that, I will teach you skills that the Archdruids know, so that you might better serve others. These skills are not for use against the Circle of the Moon. They are not for use against Sharoner. They are for the good of all people. And she will spend the next day teaching you the Warcaster feat. All right, so yeah, so the next day Takara is learning Observant and Lilovati is learning Warcaster. At the end of that day, you all kind of gather at the inn. What do you do?
I have a question for Love as a player, not as a character. So Love would have read what Mariella wrote, right? Would Love have? Would he? So if Love would like tell the party, then I can just tell you here. But if not, then I can send you a DM.
What would you like? I wouldn't openly just show the party.
Okay, then I will send you a DM and Love can decide.
I might have read like 7 words. I might have like realized what it was and then stopped.
I don't think it's what you think it is. So I don't mind sharing. I'm just asking that it's what Love would do. So I'll send you a DM, and Love can do what Love does.
All right. Thanks.
Cool.
What time of day is it?
Probably just past sunset.
Are we all together?
Yeah. You're at a
Are we
table
eating?
in the Bright Bottle. Yeah, there's
Thank
food
goodness.
and
Okay.
drink available for you.
Well, lads, time has come. The reason for our journey to Kanatra finally fulfilled. only wish your Coven were here to join in on this conversation, but we all know that he's into some deep dark shit. So, we'll leave it at that. However, what are we doing? What's our purpose here as a group? We have individual goals. And what are they? Are they going to get in the way of the group's mission? We are the Secret Swords. But what is the Secret Swords? And what is our plan? And what are your plans?
To find the Holy Grail. Shout out, by the way, to the Wind Waker song that was a few songs ago. Top notch. Back is Takara.
Our Empire to the Caribbean.
That, the lizard folk that was with Sanajit. Don't know if any of you know her name. Is it Anya? Is that the word established? That's her name.
Yeah.
It's me telling Cora specifically for no reason. They informed me that there's this roving duelist who's just going around and challenging people to a duel. Anyway, I'd very much like to do that. For reasons.
You'd like to duel this person?
Oh yes, very much.
Why?
There's literally nothing more that is the most me thing that's ever existed. I will conquer this duelist in the name of Havoc, and I will take their shit.
But what drives you, Eochora?
Well, I just told you. I fight people, defeat them in the name of Havoc, and I take their shit. My name literally
Yes,
means the
but
taker.
why? But why?
I am Eochora the Taker. That is literally my name.
You've not stopped to think why you serve. Okay.
You have
Not
not
so
stopped to
think-
think if I care, if I to stop to think.
Okay. Let's put a pin in that. Let's put a pin in you.
Okay, fine. I will tell you. I will tell you.
Core, you are very straightforward.
No, love, shut up.
Give
I
us
will
your
tell you now. I serve Havoc because he is my people's god of leadership. And when I was very young, I had to make a very hard decision to help the good of my village. And I intend to lead my people to a better life.
That's
So I follow Havoc so that he will give me the skill to lead them.
That's beautiful, Eochora. You're beautiful inside and out, my friend.
That is very
Yes.
true. My eyes are squares. If part of that, you understand, is occasionally kicking the shit out of a roving duelist. It's just part of the job description.
Sure. You wouldn't care to share that hard decision that you'd had to make, right? How many drinks in are we?
Half a drink.
Some of us.
I'm not shy about it. I can tell you if you want.
It'd be nice to. I mean, we've known each other for 2 weeks. We haven't had much time to sit and talk.
Are you sure?
It would be nice to know everyone's intent and history and purpose.
Right? Yeah. I warned you. I, with a knife, murdered my parents in cold blood. That's it.
I thought I had parental issues. Wow. That's with a knife, you say?
Big one.
You wouldn't care to go a bit deeper.
I don't. I'm not hiding it.
That's yeah.
I woke one night. They were murdering a prayer leader to our village. Very kind man. They killed him in front of me. And they divulged to me that they plan to overthrow the village. And when their backs were turned, I put holes in them.
When you say overthrow the village, do you mean wrest control, manipulate the village, bend it to their will?
I'm not quite sure because I killed them before they could do it.
It to you seemed wrong, and you acted in the name
Correct.
of havoc.
Well,
You did what you thought.
to
was
be
right.
to be fair, at the time I didn't know who. Well, I knew who Havoc was, but I was not as. The dedication to him came after this event, so I guess I do everything for Havoc, but it was village was my main concern.
Is Havoc a vengeful deity? Is
Eochora thinks back to the vision she just had 2 days ago. Sometimes, yes.
from what you've divulged, I can get behind Havoc.
He leads with strength for a place that only can survive with strength.
Reminds me a bit of you.
That is no accident. I have dedicated myself to him for the last 13 years.
Well, who's next? Lilvati, what are you drinking? Is that tea?
I'm doing some character sheet stuff right now. I'll BRB.
There's just a little
He's drinking the lore.
question mark over Lilvati's head. Lilvati is steeping her tea, it seems. Core, I know that you're Nara. Oh man, I butchered that.
Paranoia.
Yes, you were enslaved at one moment in time, a point in time in your life. No? And then you were free. And then now you're here. I'm missing things, right?
How much detail would you want?
The important bits, my friend. To help us understand each other better.
Okay. And I would like to down the rest of the drink that I'm currently having before saying anything else. Okay. So, as I'm sure you might have inferred by now, I was not always a part of the Arising Alloys. As you said, I was enslaved by a group that worked within Arnar's ranks. Have any of you ever heard of a dragonborn named True Shrimpdot?
Would I? Would Takara have heard that?
Make a history check.
Can I make one too?
Sure. Nope. Yeah, I've not heard of this name before.
I haven't. No.
Well, let's just put it this way. He served as a leading commander in Arnar's army. He was a big deal. Basically, growing up, we weren't really taught much about the outside world. And anything that we were told was either propaganda, truth stretching, or just outright unreal. To him, it was basically, you should be proud to be raised in this army and in this world, kill or be contra. He would push each and every one of us to the brink of physical and mental exhaustion, to the point where if we couldn't cut it, we would be left to die. Now, I was inducted into this army at 15. Long time ago. It seems so soon. And the test to see who was worthy of survival was a little thing that we referred to as the culling. Basically, we would be put into pairs, and then we would be forced to fight each other till only one of us remained. And I just take another big swig. It was a means of weeding out weaker half of each group of Dragonborn. And we do that every year. This went on for 20 years of having to fight my own kin one by one. I never wanted to do it, but I knew that if I didn't bite the bullet, that I was as good as dead. So I fought through the pain and watched my little brethren die in front of me. All I could think of at that point was, if only I could just get out of here, that I would do everything in my power to prevent any more from suffering the same fate that I did. And eventually I was. One of the members of the always ended up getting captured, and with her help, we managed to escape. And I never looked back. I've been with the Arising Alloys ever since. So, yeah, that's my life story. To now.
The two of you have been through so much. Look at Takara and then Core. Wow. I thought I had it bad.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not dead.
Yes,
They
but
are.
You've had to do horrible things. You've had to make hard choices, and you're good people. It's doesn't seem fair. Maybe that's why it had to be you to make those choices.
A hard decision it was, even though it was a split one, but a horrible thing it was not. No, I cannot say the same for Core, but I am blessed to know that my decision was the right one. And continues to be.
And in a way, I'm almost thankful for everything I went through. It did, in a way, make me stronger and allowed me to meet all of you. Despite the compromise.
It is no coincidence that we are the biggest, huh? And Tokar punches the fuck out of Core's like shoulder, just like hard.
Whew. Boy, this alcohol really does the trick, doesn't it? Mm. That's why, you know, and when I heard of Frara coming in her plight, I can't just leave them, you know. I have to do something.
All my life, I've had things happen to me. The two of you, you happen upon the world.
I
You
would like
struggle,
to, and yet, you made quite the choice yesterday.
In a way, I just feel like I'm running. You're strong, stronger than me. I don't think I could. It came to it. I don't think I could do that to my father. All the
Well,
things he's done to me.
like I mentioned previously, there's not often much room for thinking
There's nothing
in
wrong
times
with
like
running.
this.
Sometimes running is all that can keep you alive.
Ah, yes. Lavati. Remind us. What drives you? And what has driven you to us?
It's been such a long time since we talked about this, I don't exactly remember where to start, but I used to be a seakeeper for the Circle of Wildfire, or at least I was chosen as ours. Um, Something went wrong. Uh, I still don't really remember what happened. It's just a lot of fire, a lot of pain, and then the next thing I knew, the seed was gone. Um, the people that came upon me dragged me back to Jalakabo, and I was put on trial for the death of a seed of a Yoda tree. It was very fast, and before I knew it, I was sent packing into exile. I had barely recovered from what had happened, and they sent me into the forest without any aid. All I really remember was I was running for what seemed like an eternity. and then I was attacked by a very large bear. Still, it still hurts to think about it. Had me pinned against a tree. Ripped my arm clean off. I don't even remember anything after that. I just remember bleeding out in the forest floor. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up in Eudamonhu. Thorm was taking care of me. And then he offered me a position at the Ruthless Grasshopper. But having come to Kanatra and the things that have happened recently, some things may have come to light regarding the incident. Specifically, I have a strong instinct and feeling that Shyrus was the one who attacked me as the bear. That's why I don't like him. I don't know why he did it. I don't know if it was on his orders or if it was from higher up. The only other thing I know is that my former circle leader was executed in my stead, and that the new Circle of Wildfire Archdruid was chosen. Some of you may have met him back at Eudamonhu during the council.
Takara, I don't remember if we did or not, but
I don't remember his name. It's like 100 pages of notes above.
Yeah, well, so actually, if you go to the actor center,
Rylus.
no, that's Circle of the Moon. I think.
Okay.
Oh, here, let me give everyone access because
you
y'all
silly bitch.
saw this guy.
Vasan is the new circle leader. Hence the reason for me disguising every now and then. I'm technically not supposed to even be in Shariner. I was only offered safe haven back in Eudamonhu because of Thorm's ties with the Circle of Dreams.
Now, here, in my opinion, is the true suffering. When others have taken the fall for us. It makes sense now, Lilavati. Thank you for telling us.
I only hope it didn't further complicate our decisions moving forward.
No. Although, everything we have just told will now be known by the Order of the Open Eye, but that is okay.
I've already told Mariella.
And like I said, I am not shy for...
I don't know what you mean. I'm asleep in my bed upstairs. Anyway, resting after that whole procedure, of course. Levati, I'm sorry. Takara's right. It's a foul thing that happened to you. You're safe. with the secret swords. I hope that one day you won't have to hide or fear.
Mayhap one day I can find out what happened, and I can find proof of the incident.
So, Coven, go ahead and unleash your story upon us once more. I just love hearing it.
I was born in a pit of flame, and
Everything I know died.
everything.
Chris,
And
just
now-
get a recording of Taylor and insert it into the recording.
There'll be plenty of time next session.
I'd just like to state for the record that my doing this was just to achieve the voice and not a interpretation of Taylor himself. That would be crossing the line.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh my. Ooh. Well, I hope, Lilavati, that you find the truth one day, and I actually seek a similar thing. You see, the night that, well, I stabbed the shit out of my parents, there was a villager who fled. Aspar Milson. And the village leadership suspected that he was connected to the plot. So they have tasked me with finding the truth. And interestingly, with my chat from Mariella, I have learned that Aspar is not as far as I thought. In fact, love, he is a member of the order that you newly belong to.
Oh, well, that's okay. It would have been nice to know before I swore my life in service to that order.
Relax. I don't necessarily have to kill the shit out of him. I just have permission to.
I thought you were gonna say kill the shit out of me, but wow, okay. Wow.
No, that would be a most unfortunate outcome. And I don't think I could do it, actually.
You couldn't.
Certainly try.
I believe it.
Could take any one of you rascals.
All right.
More wine! I yell at the
Like,
bartender or whatever.
you better watch yourself, love. I only need 7 more barrels of alcohol to become drunk.
7 barrels. It's on me.
At this point, one of
Yes,
you may
of
notice the
wine.
fact that Takara's cup, it looks very small in her hand. I just really need to talk to him and find out what happened. Violence is the last resort. And, well, that's not entirely true. I was tasked with bringing him back to the village, but that can be done with persuasion.
That reminds me. Why are we ordering wine? I can just make it.
I don't wanna. We're celebrating.
Does it have to be wine?
It can be wine or beer. Or mayonnaise if you're so
Wine
inclined.
is for me. Cork
You
can have
don't
mayonnaise.
say. What if I wanted mayonnaise flavored beer.
I'm sure I could bargain with some higher power for that.
Now, beer is that I would accept.
One of my favorite bards plays a mayonnaise stunningly.
I was under the impression it wasn't an instrument.
Really, love. Please
You've been
explain.
told wrong.
Who is this bard you speak of?
Oh, it's a aquatic creature, pink of skin, star of shape.
I heard he was quite the superstar.
Rick Patch, they call him.
Really, if you don't, anyone knows him unless you live under a rock.
I heard that he doesn't like it when you call him Rick.
Well, Ricky, you know. Ricky Patch, that's what they call him.
Oh, he's the one who's done horseradish too, right? I think I know who you're talking.
That was Bob Sponge.
This is peak D&D.
Oh yes, my.
Also, Corey, you said earlier you bit the bullet. What the fuck is a bullet?
Some legendary weapon of higher power, from what I gather.
I thought it was a creature that burrowed under the earth, had this armor. No?
I can give a bullet.
Oh, a bullet.
It sounds tiny and insignificant.
So what are we gonna do tomorrow?
Okay, we've talked about our past. Now, what is our goal? That's a great question, Ravati. What are we working toward? Takara, you mentioned some duelist. Yes, but we've got the Dragonborn situation.
Well,
I don't know.
that's true. If this duelist is worth half a shit, they will live long enough for me to kill them. So I can wait.
Who knows? We may even encounter them along the way.
Okay. I prefer to hunt them down mercilessly and methodically, but that works too.
Didn't we just by chance encounter that other elf person you were looking for by coming here? So I just say let it roll.
The what? The who?
That person that or those people you were looking for from the Utamanu Guard.
Oh, the gray fellow. Yes. You know, that didn't go very well.
What do you mean?
I've recently had some time to reflect on that. Did not go very well for us.
No one
We
got
were
hurt.
aren't we?
It's just a feeling I get. You know, it occurred to me in prayer that we could have handled that better. Specifically, I could have handled that better.
Maybe it's the wine talking, but I have no idea what any of you are talking about right now.
We fought a troll on a bridge. Well, we bartered with a troll on a bridge with words.
See, I wasn't there.
Yeah, Lov got there a little late. He was held up at Utamanu for some reason.
Oh,
Got
did you also have to endure the trial of the water closet?
It was a longer trial than that.
A longer trial, to be sure, but a welcome one.
The water wardrobe.
Well, what is our quest moving forward? What
As
shall
you
we
as
do?
you
Where
ponder
shall
this
we go?
question, a band begins playing. Continue.
Fuck off.
Ah, a jaunty tune. I stand up. Start clapping. Core. Reach my hand down.
We were in the middle of a discussion, love.
I've been taught a few of these
You've also had a few off.
ball dances in my time in
The one who
Astaria.
dances on balls. That is actually quite impressive. Core?
Not much of a dancer, to be honest.
I am going to cast.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Dominate person.
I'm going to cast Fly
hot.
on Core.
So Love walks over to you and begins casting a spell on you. What do you do?
I just.
Yeah.
Actually, I reach my hand out to take Core's hand, and then when I do, I'm gonna sleight of hand and cast it.
If he starts reaching his hand towards my hand, I am going to reject.
Okay, I'm just gonna reach then and do it.
Are you still rejecting, Core?
I am very much still rejecting.
Can I get a contested dexterity checks?
Yes, sir. Ability check?
Yeah.
Good boy.
You do your best to get away in time, but Love manages to touch you on the shoulder and cast the spell.
You rise up out of your chair.
Hey, what was that? Whoa, whoa.
Dance with me, Core! And I just like swirl around and I start doing a.
Oh, what is this? This isn't funny.
Pretty
It's
funny.
for me.
It's funny for me too.
Help me. I don't like this.
Several of the other people in the tavern look on in shock, but eventually begin clapping along and cheering.
Just swim into it, Core.
Wait,
Wim, do you see me? I didn't know how to swim until a couple days ago. Even then, I just sank.
Pretend you have wings.
Pretend I have wings? Why don't I just pretend I have another set of arms while I'm at it?
You could
If,
do that too.
After a bit, if like Core drifts anywhere near me, I'm just gonna like sip my tea, and I reach over and cast Dispel Magic on him.
wait, no, before that, you bitch.
I said give it in a bit.
Okay.
Okay, Takara, once everyone starts clapping along, Takara will cast Blinding Light at Core to use his scales like a fucking disco ball.
And several other people begin hitting the dance floor that was previously almost bare. It
Start clearing
is
tables
a
away.
right romp.
It is a true bop.
But eventually,
Several-
Core floats over into Lilavati's direction and unceremoniously collapses onto the ground as the magic is dispelled.
If Core looks distraught, I probably would have ended the spell.
I mean, second one, he'd be distraught.
I would, for the
Like
record.
if Core isn't getting into it, I probably would have ended the spell.
Yeah, but the people are all into it now, and for a moment you're just kind of taking in the. A lot has changed in this village over the past couple days, and it's all thanks to you. And it kind of reminds you here of what Sharoner offers to its people. It is safety, it is home, it is comfort, in a place where humans, elves, halflings, gnomes, and all sorts of other folk, more so than anywhere else in Eochora, are able to enjoy each other's company with no thought for what they look like or what lineage they might descend from. In Sharoner, everyone is one with the natural world and can enjoy each other's company in such a way. But then your thought wanders back to the question that Love proposed just before the song kicked in, and these people, this is their home, and it's been protected, but they are eager and happy to get back to their normal lives. For you, adventure awaits. What I'm trying to say is I do need an answer before we end tonight's session.
Which I want to deal.
Do we have anything else that is pressing besides this battle with the Dragonborn army?
Well, Mimashid requested my presence, but and you don't. But it's fine. It's fine. It'll be alright. I'm free now. It's fine. I'll be alright. I will be okay. I'm alright.
A few years ago, I was taught that anyone who repeats such a thing to them, more than a few times is not really convinced of what they're saying.
I'm okay.
Especially when their vocal register gets like really high, like progressively higher. It's
I don't know what you're
kind of a
talking
thing
about.
Okay. Unless you cast fly on your own balls, then I'm assuming that this is a
Alvati, can you dispel, please?
Levati, touch this man's balls. My point is we should consider if it would be worthwhile to act like you're still in your old role, perhaps.
Perhaps. If I gave a shit about what Mihimajid wanted. Or my father, but I don't. No. And look at the secret swords now. And what we're going to do is what's right for us, what's right for the realm.
Thank you, Lilibati, for dispelling the magic on his balls. It has clearly worked. That is a man of confidence.
I'm inclined to say we intervene in the Dragonborn issue.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I third the notion.
So call then. Kara just hits her fist on the ceiling, and then I just desperately want it there to be just a bathroom directly above us right now. That even though bathrooms don't exist in that way in this world, probably.
I'll do it.
As soon as you punch the ceiling, you hear the indistinguishable sound of something heavy falling into water, and then a sigh of relief.
It appears he has roughed off
Feed
his son
his
at the
eel.
pool. Yeah. He has sent his wish down the well. Well, I will take that as a confirmatory.
Whose side are we going to be on, though?
Oh, shit.
I don't exactly wish to aid Cyrus directly, but I do see the value in helping clear out the conflict.
All I ask is that we rescue as many of Ferrara's companions as possible.
You have a personal stake in this, Core. I think maybe you should take a point here. If we're all in agreement. And I think
Right.
we are.
Now, Frara was, like me, brainwashed. And it's safe to assume that all the others who tried to desert were in a similar position. I'm afraid that if Shyrus gets a hold of them before we do, he'll just not think twice and kill them all. Based on her accounts of what she's heard about him, but a large bear with great strength, wouldn't put past him to kill them all.
I made a deal with Asmaki that in exchange for some lessons, I wouldn't exactly fight anyone from Sharoner. So I would hopefully wish that we could find a way to deal with this without bloodshed. Which means we would have to act fast if they're already working on a front, an assault.
We leave in the morning.
We do what we
Took our-
can.
You're the leader, of course. I don't mean to overstep my bounds.
Love, you know that's bullshit.
I know. I felt pretty confident once my balls dropped.
Indeed. You know, yak testicles are actually a pretty good snack.
I'm going to bed, and that's what I have to say.
Okay, love.
You pop one, you can't stop.
Yes, my dear Jeticor. Would you like to fly again?
Not now, not ever again.
Oh, perhaps someone else. Another time. But, what do you want to call?
That was it. Just don't ever do that again.
Are you sure? Is
Unless I am in a death possible situation. Can we agree?
You don't like to fly, Cor?
I prefer the ground, thank you.
All right. Very well. Your wish is granted.
Unless I say otherwise.
You have to admit that was pretty fun.
The people did seem to enjoy it.
You are an exceptional floater. You floated around and fluttered and flitted beautifully. But no, never again.
Unless I ask.
Unless you ask. Like, if you're falling to your death, perhaps, maybe.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. I just clasped Cor on the shoulder and cast Fly on him again, and turn around and start heading upstairs.
All right. And with that, I think we will end tonight's session. So, thanks for playing, y'all. Looking forward to next time.